History whispers through the ages, and nowhere is its voice louder than on ancient battlefields. These hallowed grounds, scarred with memories, hold secrets that echo through time. To study battles is to understand the clash of swords and the roar of cannons. It's the ambitions of empires and the struggle for power and survival. From Waterloo to Stalingrad, these conflicts reveal the minds of commanders and the courage of soldiers. By unraveling these battles, we understand the forces shaping our world and the lessons that resonate today. Behind every maneuver and casualty lies a human story of bravery and sacrifice. The year is 1815. Europe trembles under the shadow of Napoleon Bonaparte, the ambitious emperor who has reshaped the continent with his military genius. After escaping exile, Napoleon returned to France, rallying his loyal troops for one final, desperate gamble to reclaim his empire. Opposing him was a coalition of European powers, led by the Duke of Wellington, a brilliant strategist known for his unwavering resolve. The fate of Europe hung in the balance as these two titans of war prepared to clash on the muddy fields of Waterloo, a small village in present-day Belgium. Napoleon, known for his aggressive tactics and lightning-fast attacks, aimed to crush Wellington's forces before Prussian reinforcements could arrive. Wellington, a master of defense, positioned his troops on the reverse slope of a ridge, shielding them from French artillery fire. Despite moments of French dominance, Wellington's lines held firm, their resolve strengthened by the knowledge that Prussian forces were approaching. The Eastern Front of World War II was a theater of unparalleled brutality, a clash of ideologies and military might that would decide the fate of millions. In the heart of this maelstrom lay Stalingrad, a strategically vital city on the banks of the Volga River, its fate intertwined with the outcome of the war itself. In the summer of 1942, the German Sixth Army, a formidable force led by General Friedrich Paulus, launched a massive offensive towards Stalingrad, aiming to capture the city and cripple Soviet resistance. The Soviets, under the unwavering leadership of Joseph Stalin, were determined to defend their homeland at any cost. The battle for Stalingrad was a gruesome fight for every street, every building, every inch of the ravaged city. Soviet soldiers, inspired by a fierce patriotism and the will to defend their homeland, fought with unparalleled ferocity, turning every bombed-out building and rubble-strewn street into a defensive stronghold. The Germans, initially confident of a swift victory, found themselves bogged down in a brutal war of attrition. In the year 480 BC, a vast Persian army, led by the mighty Xerxes I, descended upon Greece, seeking to conquer the fledgling city-states and add their lands to the sprawling Persian Empire. Standing in their way was a small but determined force of Greek warriors, united in their defense of their homeland. Among them were 300 Spartans, led by their king, Leonidas, warriors renowned throughout the ancient world for their discipline, courage, and martial prowess. They took up a defensive position at the narrow pass of Thermopylae, the Hot Gates, a strategic choke point where the Persian numerical superiority would be neutralized. For 3 days, the Spartans and their Greek allies held the pass against overwhelming odds, repelling wave after wave of Persian attacks. Xerxes, enraged by the stubborn resistance of the Greeks, sent in his elite troops, the Immortals, hoping to break the Spartan line. Section 5, Agincourt, the Reign of Arrows and the Fall of Chivalry. The 100 Years' War, a protracted conflict between England and France, was a defining period in medieval European history. In 1415, at the Battle of Agincourt, a small English army led by King Henry V faced a much larger French force, seeking to assert English dominance on the continent. The French, confident in their numerical superiority and the prowess of their heavily armored knights, expected a swift victory. However, the English army, composed primarily of longbowmen and dismounted men-at-arms, were about to rewrite the rules of medieval warfare. As the French knights charged across the muddy battlefield, their heavy armor weighing them down, they were met with a devastating hail of arrows from the English longbowmen. The English longbow, a weapon of remarkable range and accuracy, proved to be a game-changer in medieval warfare. Section 6. Gettysburg, a nation divided, a battle for freedom. The Battle of Gettysburg stands as a pivotal moment, a turning point in the Civil War that would decide the fate of a nation torn apart by conflict. Fought over 3 days in July 1863, Gettysburg was a brutal test of strength between the Union and Confederate armies. General Robert E. Lee invaded Pennsylvania, hoping to win a decisive victory on northern soil. The Union Army, under General George Meade, was determined to stop Lee's advance. Gettysburg was a battle of epic proportions, with over 160,000 soldiers clashing across southern Pennsylvania. The battle was marked by fierce fighting, artillery duels, and hand-to-hand combat. One of the most iconic moments occurred on the third day, with Pickett's charge. Section 7, Midway Carriers Clash, the Pacific's Fate Sealed. In the vast expanse of the Pacific Ocean during the early days of World War II, a clash of naval titans would forever alter the course of the war. The Battle of Midway, fought in June 1942, was a decisive victory for the United States Navy, a turning point that shattered Japan's offensive capabilities and shifted the balance of power in the Pacific. Following their surprise attack on Pearl Harbor, the Japanese were on the offensive, seeking to expand their empire and cripple the American Pacific Fleet. The Japanese, led by Admiral Isoroku Yamamoto, aimed to lure the American fleet into a trap and deliver a decisive blow. However, the Americans, under the command of Admirals Chester Nimitz and Frank Jack Fletcher, had intercepted Japanese communications and were aware of their plans. American dive bombers, capitalizing on a critical Japanese tactical error, caught the Japanese carriers with their decks full of aircraft, ready to launch another attack. Section 8, Kursk, Steel Titans, a Clash of Iron Will. The Eastern Front of World War II was a cauldron of armored warfare, a relentless clash of steel titans that would shape the outcome of the war. In the summer of 1943, near the strategically important city of Kursk, the largest tank battle in history unfolded, a clash of ideologies and military might that would leave an enduring mark on the annals of warfare. Following their defeat at Stalingrad, the German army, seeking to regain the initiative, launched Operation Citadel, a massive offensive aimed at encircling and destroying Soviet forces positioned in the Kursk salient. The Soviets, aware of the impending German offensive, had prepared formidable defensive positions, transforming the Kursk salient into a death trap for the advancing German panzers. The German offensive, led by Field Marshal Erich von Manstein, initially made some gains, but the Soviet defenses held firm, their anti-tank guns and dug-in infantry inflicting heavy casualties on the attacking Germans. Section 9, Tet Offensive, a turning point in Vietnam. The Vietnam War, a protracted and divisive conflict that tore at the fabric of American society, was marked by a series of turning points that shifted the course of the war. One such turning point was the Tet Offensive, a surprise offensive launched by the North Vietnamese Army and Viet Cong in January 1968 during the Vietnamese New Year holiday of Tet. The Tet Offensive was a military and psychological victory for the North Vietnamese, a testament to their resilience and their ability to strike at the heart of South Vietnam, despite years of American bombing and ground operations. While the offensive was ultimately repelled, it had a profound impact on American public opinion and the political landscape of the war. The attacks, though repelled after fierce fighting, shocked the American public, who had been led to believe that the war was being won. The Tet Offensive exposed the limitations of American military power and the resilience of the North Vietnamese. Section 10, The Evolution of Warfare Lessons from the Past. Throughout history, the nature of warfare has been in a constant state of flux, adapting to new technologies, evolving strategies, and the changing political landscape of the world. From the phalanx formations of ancient Greece to the trench warfare of World War I and the lightning-fast blitzkrieg tactics of World War II, the art of war has been shaped by the lessons learned on countless battlefields. One of the most significant factors driving the evolution of warfare has been technological advancement. The invention of gunpowder, the development of the airplane, the introduction of nuclear weapons, each of these technological leaps has revolutionized the way wars are fought and forever altered the balance of power. However, technology alone does not win wars. Strategy, leadership, and the human element remain critical factors in determining the outcome of conflicts. The lessons learned from past battles continue to resonate in the 21st century. Section 11, Modern Warfare Ghosts of Battles Past. As we enter the 21st century, warfare evolves at an unprecedented pace. The rise of non-state actors, the proliferation of weapons of mass destruction, and the growing importance of cyber warfare define the modern security environment. While future battlefields may look different, lessons from historical battles remain relevant. Understanding the enemy's strengths and weaknesses, and having clear objectives and strategy are timeless principles. These transcend technological advancements and the changing nature of warfare. Modern warfare is increasingly asymmetric, with state actors facing non-state actors, terrorists, and insurgents. By understanding past successes and failures, we can better prepare for future challenges and ensure sacrifices on battlefields are never forgotten.